What is Newton? Newton is digital.
Beautiful product we've ever designed. The computer is in an 8-inch cube.
Introducing Jeeves, the world's first internet butler. Just type in your...
Some inventions were ahead of their time. Others were just plain bad. But all of them share the same fate: failure. Why do groundbreaking ideas so often collapse? And what can we learn from their downfall? Let's explore 50 innovative products that have failed miserably. Imagine cracking open a bottle of clear, bubbly soda only to find hundreds of tiny, floating gelatin balls drifting inside, like miniature planets orbiting a fizzy star. That was Orbits, Curtis Industries' 1997 experiment in beverage theater. The idea sounded wild and futuristic, a drink you could watch as much as taste. At first, people were hooked by the sci-fi vibe. You almost expected to hear laser sounds when you poured it. Then came the sip. Those jelly blobs? Oddly chewy, slime-like, and completely distracting. The fruit flavors clashed with the texture, making each swallow feel like a science fair misstep instead of a refreshing treat. In less than a year, Orbits fizzled out, proving that some innovations are better seen in action than tasted. But if you thought Orbits was the strangest launch of the 90s, wait until you hear about the next entry. What if you found out that there was a whole other piece of arcade-style tech that had us dancing for hours? Let's find out. Stepping onto that flashing pad felt like entering another dimension. Each arrow lit up in sync with pounding beats, and your heart raced as you matched step to step.
Dance Dance Revolution, the hit Japanese dancing game. Bring the arcade experience to life in your own home with the Dance Dance Revolution dance pads.
When Dance Dance Revolution first hit arcades, players lined up for their turn, ready to prove they had lightning-fast feet. Sweaty palms gripped the rail as neon arrows guided your every move. The more accurate you were, the higher your combo score climbed. It wasn't just a game, it was a social ritual. Friends shouting encouragement, crowds gathering to watch epic fails, and the thrill of nailing a perfect run. Though home consoles later brought DDR pads into living rooms, nothing quite matched the adrenaline of the arcade's thunderous speakers. Even now, a select group of die-hard fans keeps the competitive spirit alive at tournaments.
Recently, an independent research firm ran a taste test between Coke and Pepsi, and the taste more people chose was the taste of Coca-Cola.
Back in the early 90s, Coca-Cola tried to bury the memory of its infamous 1985 New Coke by relaunching the same recipe under the name Coke 2. The red flag should have been obvious. Rebranding a flop rarely piques consumer curiosity. Yet, Coca-Cola poured marketing muscle into convincing fans that Coke 2 was a fresh start. The new labels sported bold numbers and sleek graphics, but folks who gave it a chance quickly realized nothing had improved. The flavor profile was still too sweet and lacking the classic bite people craved. Within months, shelves were cluttered with unsold cases, and Coke 2 quietly disappeared, while the original formula marched on stronger than ever. In the heyday of the aughts, nothing said cool like grabbing a bottle of Sobe, a vibrant concoction of teas, juices, and flavored waters, all sporting that iconic lizard logo. Bright hues glowed behind glass bottles promising exotic flavors that tasted like sunshine in a sip. Convenience store fridges were stocked floor to ceiling, and whenever you cracked the cap, the fruity aroma felt like a mini vacation.
It's pretty damn delicious. Usually I get strawberry first, but I got a nice whiff of banana before I actually had the aftertaste of strawberry, so it's pretty...
But when PepsiCo switched to plastic packaging in 2007, a key piece of Sobe's charm slipped away. Sales dipped, and eventually, the brand vanished from many shelves. These days, hunting down an authentic glass-bottled Sobe feels like a scavenger hunt. Nostalgia in liquid form, if you can find it at all.
What is Newton? Newton is digital. Newton is personal. Newton is magic. Newton is as powerful as a computer. Newton is as simple as a piece of paper.
Before your iPhone could recognize your sloppy scribbles and convert them to text, there was the Apple Newton. Launched in 1993, it promised to be your digital notepad. Sounds cool, right? But in reality, this so-called personal digital assistant barely recognized anyone's handwriting, and that was its whole gimmick. People ended up frustrated, especially since the Newton wasn't cheap. Even The Simpsons took a jab at it, mocking its inability to get even simple notes right. Apple wanted to change how we organized our lives, but instead it gave us a glitchy reminder of how unready the tech was. It limped along for a few years before Apple pulled the plug. AOL Instant Messenger, or AM, was launched in 1997, but exploded in popularity during the early 2000s. With its distinctive soundbite, "You've got mail," each login sparked excitement.
You've got mail. You've got pictures.
Creating a sleek username, that perfect mix of cool and cryptic, felt like crafting an online persona. Friends hovered over typing indicators, anxiously waiting for responses that would light up the screen. Away messages evolved into mini blogs, revealing moods with quotes, song lyrics, or mysterious teases. File transfers shared pixelated GIFs and embarrassing selfies. Chat rooms buzzed with inside jokes, planning weekend meetups long before social media created event pages. Yet, as smartphones and social networks rose, AIM's servers grew quiet. By 2017, the service shut down, leaving generations nostalgic for its simple, real-time magic. Now, its legacy lives on in every blue-checked chat bubble you see today.
Best ingredients are just the start of a great burger. Crisp leaves of iceberg lettuce, the stone-ground mustard sauce, the soft, comforting potato roll. I'm in the zone.
In 1996, McDonald's tried to grow up, literally. They launched the Arch Deluxe, a sophisticated burger aimed at adults who wanted more than just ketchup and pickles. The burger came with a fancy mustard sauce, lettuce, and a potato bun, and they spent over $100 million marketing it. Problem? No one was asking for a gourmet burger from a drive-thru. Kids didn't care, adults weren't impressed, and the campaign flopped. People just wanted their regular Big Macs, not a burger that tried too hard to be something it wasn't. Despite the hype, the Arch Deluxe quietly vanished from the menu. But McDonald's wasn't the only brand trying to reinvent the wheel in the 90s. The turn of the millennium saw a high-fidelity duel, DVD audio versus SACD. Audiophiles envisioned crystal-clear soundtracks that surpassed CDs with richer bass, wider sound stages, and immersive surround mixes. Early reviews praised both formats, but casual listeners barely noticed the difference. Specialty players were expensive, and music libraries remained stubbornly on standard CDs or moving to MP3s and online music stores.
On the DVD audio, they had to transfer it to DSD to produce the SACD. Do they sound any different? I haven't really given it a proper shootout.
Retailers stocked a few titles, but without mass adoption, record labels lost interest. Today, SACDs and DVD audio discs still trickle out for devoted collectors. Still, the format war ended in a draw. Neither format claimed mainstream victory, and most of us stream or download high-resolution files instead. Pepsi AM was Pepsi's wild idea to get in on the morning drink game. Launched in 1989 and lingering into the early 90s, it was meant to replace your morning coffee with a cold, carbonated jolt of caffeine. Great on paper, until people actually tried it. Turns out, most folks weren't ready to swap their warm coffee for a fizzy soda at 7 a.m. It tasted just like regular Pepsi, but with slightly more caffeine, which left many wondering what the point even was. The product never found its audience and quickly disappeared from shelves. It did, however, pave the way for other oddball drinks trying to carve out a niche. And speaking of drinks that looked cool but failed hard, the next one's crystal clear. Literally. When Crystal Pepsi hit shelves in 1992, it looked like the future. Clear soda that wasn't lemon lime? That was wild. Pepsi marketed it as a healthier cola, free from caffeine and artificial colors, and the ads were dramatic and epic, with soaring music and slow-motion pours. But here's the thing. It still tasted like flat, watered-down Pepsi. Consumers were confused. Why does it look like Sprite but taste like Pepsi? It didn't help that competitors jumped in with their own copycat products, diluting the appeal even more. Despite a strong start, sales fizzled, and by the mid-90s, Crystal Pepsi was pulled. It still has a cult following today, but no amount of nostalgia can erase the fact that it just didn't work. When Apple unveiled the G4 Cube in 2000, jaws dropped at its elegant minimalist design, a 7.7-inch transparent acrylic cube that floated on its base. Inside, a PowerPC G4 processor delivered desktop-class performance.
Combining the power of the Power Mac G4, the awesome power of this machine.
But that beauty came with a hefty price tag and some quirky limitations. No room for standard expansion cards and a reliance on external devices for upgrades. Sales never matched Apple's hopes, and production ended roughly a year later. Though it remains an icon of industrial design, the Cube's impracticalities made it more of a museum piece than a mainstream computer. Today, it's a collector's dream, proof that groundbreaking form sometimes outshines everyday function.
Hey, be careful with that running!
Let me show you what I've got in here.
Yes, this is a list of school events. Oh, this is a thank you note. This is my mailing list. Be careful with that running.
Bob, not your neighbor. Microsoft Bob. In 1995, Microsoft thought it could make using a computer more friendly by turning your desktop into a cartoon living room. You'd open your software by clicking on household items like a desk or bookshelf, and your guide was a talking dog named Rover. Sounds cute? It wasn't. People found it clunky, childish, and more confusing than helpful. Plus, it needed serious computing power for the time, which made it laggy. Critics and users alike dunked on Bob, and it was quietly retired within a year. It remains one of Microsoft's biggest missteps, and even Bill Gates later admitted it was a flop. But branding gone wrong isn't just a tech problem. MySpace was the digital playground of the mid-2000s, where everyone crafted profile pages adorned with glitter GIFs, auto-playing music, and custom HTML themes. Curating your top 8 friends became a social minefield. One slight misstep could cost your place in someone's inner circle. Profiles loaded slowly, thanks to over-the-top decorations and code clutter, but we didn't mind. We felt like online rock stars. Musicians discovered global audiences, while users vied to outdo each other with flashiest pages. Yet, as Facebook's cleaner interface and real-name policies took hold, MySpace's chaos became its downfall. By the early 2010s, its user base had plummeted, and the site refocused on music alone.
Old enough to remember MySpace, then you know just how much music was uploaded to the social site over the years. But I gotta tell you, at least 12 years of that music is now lost for good.
Still, for many, those neon-soaked profiles represent a precious slice of internet history. Coors, a brand known for beer, mountain streams, and bottled water. That's right. In the early 90s, Coors decided to branch out and release Rocky Mountain spring water, thinking their reputation for clean, fresh brews would transfer easily. Spoiler alert, it didn't. The bottles looked suspiciously like beer, confusing customers everywhere. People couldn't tell if they were reaching for hydration or a happy hour. Some stores even stocked it in the beer aisle. Consumers didn't buy the crossover, and Coors quietly pulled the plug. It turns out people just don't associate beer brands with purity. But odd product extensions weren't unique to Coors. Imagine fitting a half gigabyte of data onto a disk no larger than a quarter. That was the promise of DataPlay when it made a splash at CES in January 2001, grabbing the Best of Show award. Tiny and sleek, these disks held up to 500 MB, enough for photos, music, or crucial documents. iRiver teased a dedicated player design, fueling excitement.
With corporate pressure to move to tapeless workflows and reduce storage costs, Sony's Optical Disc Archive solution lineup is an excellent choice to protect your content now and in the future.
Yet, despite demo units and press headlines, neither the device nor the discs reached retail. High production costs, complex licensing, and the rapid rise of flash media doomed the format. Consumers gravitated toward CDRs and USB drives offering proven reliability and bigger file sizes. By late 2001, DataPlay quietly vanished, known today only in tech archives. Its fleeting triumph reminds us how prototypes don't always translate to shelf success. One of the most unexpected misfires of the 90s came from a leather-clad icon that tried to make you smell, like asphalt and chrome. Rugged, loud, powerful. These are the words people associate with Harley-Davidson. So, when the motorcycle giant decided to launch a line of colognes and perfumes in the early 90s, fans were more confused than excited. The bottles were shaped like gas tanks and engine parts, and the scents had names like Hot Road and Chrome. But here's the problem. Bikers weren't buying it, and neither was the mainstream public. It clashed completely with the brand's gritty, no-nonsense image. Instead of revving up interest, it stalled in stores and quickly became a retail oddity. Even die-hard Harley fans weren't convinced they needed to smell like the inside of a tool shed. In 2002, the Segway rolled out with a promise to revolutionize city streets. Its two self-balancing wheels, gyroscopic sensors, and silent electric motor looked like the future of personal transport.
Segway says it'll stop producing its iconic PT scooter beginning in July. Factories will be halting production July the 15th, and more than 20 people at its New Hampshire plant will be let go.
Early demos featured business executives gliding through airports and cruise ships, backed by hefty price tags and celebrity endorsements. Jeff Bezos hailed it as one of the most anticipated product launches ever, but reality diverged from the dream. High cost, regulatory hurdles, and crowded sidewalks made Segways impractical for everyday commuters. They never became a mainstream commuting staple or urban game changer.
Might be devastated with this next story. Segway's about to be the thing of the past, you know? The company that makes them says production will stop.
Despite loyal fan communities and a pivot to industrial uses, the Segway remains a niche novelty rather than the mobility revolution it once promised to be.
From the third dimension, with its own brain, its own voice.
Nintendo was ahead of its time, and sometimes that wasn't a good thing. The Virtual Boy, launched in 1995, was supposed to bring 3D gaming into living rooms. The red and black graphics looked like something out of a sci-fi fever dream, and you had to stick your face into a weird headset to play. While it was technically portable, it came with a stand and was anything but comfortable. Within minutes, players complained of headaches, eye strain, and nausea. The game library was limited, and the graphics felt more like punishment than playtime. Despite the Nintendo brand, the Virtual Boy sold fewer than 1 million units before being discontinued the following year. It remains one of the company's biggest flops. In early 2003, Microsoft unveiled Smart Display, codename Mira, as a wireless monitor that transformed into a tablet tethered to your PC. Slender and glossy, it felt like a glimpse into tomorrow. Scroll through documents from the couch, check email from the kitchen, or pilot PowerPoint from a meeting room.
We see a tablet that represents a unique vision for the seamless expression of entertainment and creativity.
But the era's slow 802.11b connections turned quick detours into laggy waiting rooms. Battery life lagged behind, performance hiccups sprang up under heavy use, and the collar clip docking station added more desk clutter than convenience. By December 2003, negligible sales convinced Microsoft to pull the plug. Its concept resurfaced years later in modern tablets and thin clients, but the original Mira remains a footnote, a reminder that timing and infrastructure can make or break innovation.
What's a good fly to catch a rainbow trout on? A Zug Bug is a splendid choice, sir, but I prefer a Mr. Rubberlegs.
Introducing Jeeves, the world's first internet butler.
In April 1997, Ask Jeeves burst onto the web, promising a friendly way to search. Type your question in plain English and Jeeves, the virtual valet, would fetch an answer. By 1999, it handled over 1 million queries a day and even starred as a Macy's parade balloon, solidifying its place among the Internet's biggest names. Yet, behind the polished persona lurked weaknesses. Ask Jeeves relied on human editors to match queries, leaving it vulnerable to spam and slow index updates. When Google introduced faster, algorithm-driven crawling and more relevant results, Jeeves's charm couldn't compete with pure performance. Traffic and mindshare shifted rapidly, and by the early 2000s, Ask Jeeves began a slow fade. Proof that personality alone can't win the search wars. Burning a mixed CD was an art form and a rite of passage in the 2000s. Blank discs stacked by the dozen, ready to capture the perfect sequence of hits, deep cuts, and hidden gems.
LightScribe used existing optical drive technology to burn monochrome images onto the label side of optical media, either CDs or DVDs.
Every crackle of the drive and flicker of the progress bar built anticipation. Crafting a playlist for your crush or best friend felt intimate and bespoke, a gift encoded in layers of plastic. Yet glitches lurked. Burn error messages after painstaking waits, wasted discs strewn in recycling bins, and unbalanced audio that rattled speakers. The rise of file-sharing networks and later streaming playlists rendered physical mixes obsolete. While nostalgia lingers, the tactile patience of burning, labeling, and packaging music has vanished, stored today in cloud folders and gathering dust on forgotten CD racks.
The amazing Sony Mini Disc is the digital way to record your music on a disc and personalize your favorite mix.
Introduced in late 1992, Sony's Mini Disc promised a sleek, rewritable successor to cassette tapes and bulky CDs. Each disc held up to 80 minutes of audio, and its adaptive transform acoustic coding compression preserved decent sound quality with no generational loss on re-recording. In Japan, mini discs enjoyed a devoted following, but 2 hurdles sank its global prospects. First, blank mini discs and recorders carried a premium price tag, often double that of comparable CDs or tapes. Second, by the mid-90s, CD burners and early MP3 players offered even greater convenience. As flash-based music players and file sharing surged, mini discs felt like yesterday's news. Sony quietly discontinued MD devices by 2013. Launched in 2003, HD Radio aimed to upgrade the airwaves with crystal-clear broadcasts and bonus channels, all without subscription fees.
It's very small. It's going to allow you to finally tune into those HD radio stations in your home and get that crystal-clear digital radio.
Listeners could tune into CD-quality audio on compatible receivers, as well as access traffic alerts, song metadata, and local subchannels. But adoption stalled as chipmakers grappled with manufacturing costs and radio brands overlooked consumer education. Dashboards and home stereos rarely featured HD modules, while broadcasters hesitated to upgrade costly transmitters. Even in 2025, a handful of models, such as Sony's XDR F1 HD and budget insignia units, hint at renewed interest, yet many drivers remain blissfully unaware. As streaming services dominate, HD radio's promise of free digital clarity remains a faint whisper on crowded dials.
It's that time of year when we get to check out this old Kodak DC-40 camera.
When Kodak released the DC-40 in 1995, it touted revolutionary digital photography in a compact, consumer-friendly package. Featuring a 1.3 megapixel sensor and PCMCIA card storage, the DC-40 let users see snapshots on their computer screens. No film, no waiting. But Kodak misjudged the market. The camera's pricey memory cards, slow download times, and lack of seamless online sharing made it feel more like a tech demo than a must-have gadget. As online photo sharing exploded in the 2000s, Kodak failed to pivot from its film-centric business, ultimately filing for bankruptcy in 2012. The DC-40 remains an early digital milestone, but also a reminder that innovation without a clear path to the customer can fall flat. In October 2001, Apple unveiled the iPod.
Today is National iPod Day. The original iPod was unveiled by Steve Jobs and Apple on this day back in 2001. Can you remember it, Gil?
A sleek white rectangle that promised hundreds of songs in your pocket.
Now, the most important of these devices are, of course, the digital camera, the digital camcorder, the DVD player, and portable digital music players.
Overnight, it reshaped how music was consumed, transforming tangled CD collections into a digital jukebox that could be carried everywhere. Its click wheel became a tactile icon, offering a satisfying spin with each song selection. Battery life felt like magic, running for days, whereas CD players would die within hours. Even without a touchscreen or internet browser, its simple interface made music discovery feel effortless. Crowds swelled at launch events, and suddenly everyone, students, commuters, runners, was on a mission to fill their iPod.
iPod has been a giant hit for us. We've got the 5 gigabyte iPod, 1,000 songs in your pocket. With iPod, we struck a middle path.
It was more than a gadget. It was a cultural stamp. Yet, for all its triumph, Apple's next challenge was already looming on the horizon. Before mobile app stores and console exclusives, Windows Minesweeper reigned as the default time killer.
Minesweeper. How to play. The object of the game is to uncover the map without clicking on any mines. Open a new game, then left-click randomly.
One wrong click detonated pixelated mines in cheerful explosions, turning logic puzzles into tiny victories and occasional frustrations. Rainy afternoons at school computer labs, living rooms, and cubicles became battlegrounds of deduction and blind guesses. The thrill of clearing a grid, chasing faster times, and mastering patterns transformed a simple utility into an unexpected obsession. Yet, despite free availability and timeless gameplay, Minesweeper never evolved beyond its basic interface. Graphics stayed static, levels remained uniform, and features stayed minimal. Today, it lives on through phone ports and browser clones, but in a gaming world of flashy visuals and microtransactions, its humble grid feels like a delightful throwback.
Because in essence, Rejuvenate does for the face what exercise does for the body. And the way it does that is there's a control unit that during a facial session actually sends an impulse.
Launched in 1999, the Rejuvenate facial mask looked like a prop from a horror film, a rigid plastic shell wired to a battery pack. Its pitch, mild electric shocks would contract your facial muscles, exercising them to lift and tone skin. Early infomercials, featuring Linda Evans, promised spa-quality results at home. In practice, users reported the mask feeling like 1,000 ants biting my face, and raised safety concerns due to untested electrical currents against sensitive skin. The FDA never approved it, and critics labeled it a gimmick at best, a potential hazard at worst. Sales sputtered. The mask vanished from stores, and Rejuvenate joined the Museum of Failure as one of the most unsettling beauty flops ever. In 2004, Motorola captured imaginations with the Razr V3, a flip phone so slender that it felt more like an accessory than a gadget. It's an anodized aluminum shell glinted in every color, from classic silver to daring hot pink, making it the must-have fashion statement of the era.
Brand new Motorola Razr V3, the super thin flip phone that's getting a lot of hype. Underneath
the stylish exterior lay a surprising feature set: a VGA front display for caller ID, a 720 mAh battery that outlasted many clunkier rivals, and Bluetooth connectivity for hands-free calls. Yet its ultra-thin design came at a cost. The keypad membrane was flimsy, leading to sticky keys and cracked screens. Cloning concerns and limited storage also tested patience. When Motorola revived the Razr name in 2020, As a foldable smartphone, critics lamented its hefty price and middling specs. Still, the original Razr remains a defining icon of the 2000s.
Spray GLH on and it instantly covers your bald spot, leaving you with great-looking hair. And ladies with thinning hair or bald spots, GLH solves the problem instantly.
In the 1990s, Ronco and other infomercial kings sold the miracle of spray-on hair, an aerosol liquid packed with talc and iron oxide powder that clung to any remaining follicles to hide bald spots. On low-resolution TV, a quick mist looked like natural regrowth, but under real-world lighting, it revealed streaky, paint-like smudges across the scalp. Users discovered that instead of blending in, the powder settled into a dusty crust, making every head movement announce itself. Even Ron Popeil himself admitted that, while it worked on screen, the texture and shine were more automotive touch-up than coiffure. Time later named Hair in a Can one of the worst inventions ever, cementing its place in beauty fail history. Remember the nail-biting suspense of tapping the 7 key 4 times just to type an S? Though T9 was born in the late 90s, it truly ruled the texting world in the 2000s, helping us fly through those clunky 3x4 keypads, even if it turned half our messages into complete gibberish.
When you want to text someone, you could text whole paragraphs. Back in our day, we used a thing called T9 texting. A flip phone would only have 9 buttons. Each button would have 3 letters.
A quick message could turn into an accidental "duck you," or "we're meeting at 5," morphing into "we're meet in hive." Despite the constant battles with autocorrect light, we still managed to churn out texts at record speed, proving that nothing could stop our urge to stay connected. Thankfully, today's smartphones have full QWERTY screens and predictive text that actually makes sense, so we can send messages without performing a keypad dance. But
warm-blooded Americans taste the difference between Lay's Wild Potato Chips and their favorite chips? Let's find out. You know they're fat-free? Only half the calories.
Holy cow! These are...
In 1998, Frito-Lay swapped oil for Olestra, a calorie-free fat substitute too large to digest, in its line of Lay's, Doritos, and Ruffles. The Wow chips delivered the same crunch and flavor, but Olestra sailed through you, often delivering embarrassing digestive side effects. FDA warnings promised possible abdominal cramping and anal leakage, and many who dared a bag found themselves making urgent restroom dashes. Despite raking in $347 million in sales in 1998, backlash and lawsuits drove sales down by half within a year. Frito-Lay eventually rebranded the line as Lay's Light before quietly discontinuing Olestra products altogether in 2016. The gimmick sounded like a dieter's dream, but reality proved far less appetizing. When standalone DVD recorders rolled into stores around 1999, they promised to be the next VCR, except sleeker and digital. Consumers imagined effortlessly burning home videos or favorite TV shows straight to shiny discs. In reality, menus were clunky, setups confusing, and burn times painfully long. Before these machines could catch on, cable and satellite DVRs, and the rise of TiVo, swooped in with faster, simpler recording options.
There are other DVRs today that can record unlimited programs. Make sure that the TV service provider that you choose has the best technology and the latest equipment.
Meanwhile, computer DVD burners gave tech enthusiasts more control and customization. By the mid-2000s, the living room DVD recorder had become an afterthought in America, relegated to bargain bins.
Coffee? Smells good.
This is perfect.
He doesn't talk about my coffee that way.
In 1990, General Foods touted Maxwell's ready-to-drink coffee as the ultimate convenience. Pre-brewed Java in a foil-lined carton, positioned next to milk in supermarket coolers. Promotional art showed a steaming mug, but the packaging wasn't microwave safe, forcing you to pour the cold brew into a separate container, then heat it up. Consumers shrugged, realizing it was just as easy, and far tastier, to brew a fresh pot at home. Sales plummeted, and Maxwell quietly pulled the product within months. It became yet another beverage misfire, proving that clever packaging can't outshine tradition when it comes to your morning cup of joe. When Cable Card debuted in 2004, it promised a world without clunky cable boxes. Just slide a card into your TV or PC for instant access to premium channels. The concept thrilled early adopters who dreamed of sleek, all-in-one entertainment hubs.
Anything that I have in the house with a screen that includes TVs and computers and phones can get access to that cable subscription, and I don't have to pay Comcast a dime to do it.
However, the reality was more complex. Compatibility varied significantly across brands, and setup required intricate interactions with cable providers. Viewers faced limited DVR support, and monthly authorization resets left households without TV on busy nights. Industry stalling and minimal marketing doomed Cable Card before mainstream users caught on. Even a promised 2.0 upgrade failed to resolve core issues. While successor technologies like True Two-Way and All-Vid have taken their shots, Cable Card remains a footnote in cable history.
Talking on the phone getting out of hand? Look out! You need phone relief, the ultimate in hands-free phone design.
Long before Bluetooth earpieces, the 1993 Phone Relief headset promised hands-free calling with a simple Velcro system. Stick a patch to your handset, snap on a plastic headband, and voila! Your phone magically floats next to your ear. No speaker, no microphone, just your regular handset dangling from your skull. Sure, it left your hands free, but the awkward plastic contraption and reliance on Velcro made it clumsy, uncomfortable, and loud. Your call quality depended entirely on how well the patch held. The era's best-selling hands-free gadget? Hardly. Most users ditched it in favor of the old shoulder pinch trick or simply waited for real cordless headsets. In 1999, Sony introduced Aibo, a pint-sized robotic puppy with a wagging tail, expressive eyes, and a playful AI personality. It could recognize faces, learn new tricks, and respond to touch. An adorable companion for tech fans.
You'll see this kind of pet robot is staying at the home. Not only one, but the 2, 3, 4, 5 robots will be moving in each home.
But at roughly $2,500, Aibo was a luxury toy few could afford, and its battery life and unpredictability sometimes left owners frustrated. As the market shifted and development costs soared, Sony discontinued the original Aibo line in 2006. Collectors mourned the loss, while a few dedicated fans hacked their Aibos to extend their lifespans. Today, Sony has revived Aibo with a pricier model, but the charm of that first robotic dog, fuzzy memories programmed into hardware, remains a testament to an idea that was ahead of its time.
Did you know that at the heart of every blow pen is a real brush tip marker? But a blow pen is much more than an ordinary marker. It's a marker and an airbrush in one for cool coloring fuzz.
In the late 90s, kids could pick up a set of BLO pens, airbrush markers that required you to blow through one end, spraying ink over stencils to create art. It sounded fun until parents dealt with ink clouds escaping every corner of the room. The pens clogged or sputtered, delivering uneven bursts that left kids frustrated and bedrooms coated in color. Some children inhaled or puffed so hard they got dizzy, and the cleanup turned into an epic laundry nightmare. Despite clever infomercials promising professional airbrush effects, the fleeting thrill wasn't worth the mess or the migraines it caused. Within a year, BLO pens vanished from toy shelves, and parents everywhere breathed a sigh of relief. In October 2000, 3Com debuted the Ergo Audrey, an internet appliance named after Audrey Hepburn, featuring a touchscreen display, an email client, audio/video playback, and Palm OS syncing.
A key component of datatricity for the nerve center of the modern home is here. It's Audrey from 3Com, the first member of the Ergo family.
It promised to be the first in a line of smart home devices, a gateway to effortless online living. Instead, it stumbled over high price tags, limited functionality, and the dot-com crash. By June 2001, the Audrey was discontinued, leaving behind a handful of curious units gathering dust. While the idea of a dedicated internet terminal in every home made sense on paper, the technology and market were not yet ready. Still, Audrey laid the groundwork for future devices like tablets and smart displays that would finally nail the concept.
Wine cooler? What? You want something different.
Something what? Different.
What do you have?
Whatever he's having.
What? Zima's tasty.
Coors Brewing Company introduced Zima Clear Malt in 1993 as a lemon-lime-flavored clear alternative to beer. Its marketing blitz convinced 70% of drinkers to try it in the first year, and 1.2 million barrels flew off shelves in 1994. But the novelty wore off quickly. Many found the flavor neither beer nor cooler, and late-night comedians lampooned its girly man reputation. U.S. production ceased in October 2008, though Zima saw limited comebacks in 2017 and 2018. In Japan, it survived until 2021 before pandemic pressures shuttered sales. Today, Zima is remembered as the drink that launched the malternative craze, and one that fizzled out when its clarity outshone its appeal. When Nokia merged phone and gaming ambitions in 2003, the N-Gage seemed poised to rewrite both rulebooks. Instead, its sideways calling method earned it the nickname Taco Phone, and gamers grumbled over awkward button layouts that made epic quests feel less immersive.
The N-Gage is the hottest new item on the market for gamers. It's a gaming deck, a cell phone, MP3 player, AM/FM stereo.
Swapping game cartridges meant removing the back cover and battery, a fiddly ritual that killed the thrill before the first boss fight. Battery life tanked under heavy play, and reception issues turned multiplayer duels into ghost towns. Still, the N-Gage boasted a spirited library that included exclusive titles and early online play.
N-Gage is a totally new way to game. It takes gaming to an entirely new level. It's wireless, multiplayer, online, unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Retailers couldn't stock units fast enough, but consumers stayed away. Despite a redesign in 2004, Nokia was unable to shake the stigma. And while fans cherished a few hidden gems, the gadget's journey was far from over. Long before slates became household staples, Microsoft and partners launched the tablet PC in 2001. These clamshell laptops featured stylus-driven touchscreens and allowed users to chart handwritten notes in real time. In classrooms and boardrooms, enthusiasts appreciated the novelty.
Classes to go to, exams to cram for, all that stuff to carry around. So simplified with a tablet PC.
Yet the devices were heavy, had short battery life, and ran Windows XP Tablet Edition with some difficulty. Mainstream users found typing on physical keyboards and navigating with a mouse to be far more efficient. Consequently, tablet PCs remained a niche for years. It wasn't until Apple's 2010 iPad, lightweight, intuitive, and app-driven, that the tablet form factor truly took off. In retrospect, the original tablet PC was a crucial stepping stone, showing both the promise and pitfalls of pen-centric computing. Butterfly clips were the quintessential 90s hair accessory. Tiny, colorful plastic clamps shaped like delicate wings. They sprouted everywhere, from lunchroom fashion shows to prom night makeovers, nestling in chunky highlights and securing half-up do's with a playful flourish. In 1999, you probably rocked a dozen on each side, convinced they were the pinnacle of cool, until the next fad came along. Their grip was satisfying, their aesthetic undeniably cute, and they cost just enough at the drugstore to feel like an indulgence. Yet, like many 90s treasures, they vanished almost as quickly as they arrived. Today, you might spot them in a vintage photo or at a nostalgia-themed party, but those prom night butterfly clips? They belong to a bygone era you'll never revisit. At the turn of the millennium, customizing your phone with a unique ringtone became a badge of honor. Investing roughly $2.50 to download the latest hit, or setting up the radio to record a snippet, felt like a small price for style. Those distinctive chirps, pings, and catchy hooks announced one's arrival at crowded hallways, buzzing offices, and packed dorm rooms. But as smartphones exploded into daily life and notifications multiplied, silence reigned supreme. Who wants an orchestra of alerts during back-to-back meetings or family dinners? Meanwhile, streaming services unlocked every track at your fingertips, making paid snippets redundant. Today, default rings sit quietly in silent mode, and the novelty of a custom melody has faded. But that's just the beginning. Wait until you hear about the next gadget, which promised portable storage greatness before disappearing without a trace.
I have an iOmega zip drive on board, and with it I can make a quick copy of all my important stuff. The 100 megabyte zip disk let me save, store, and take all my stuff with me.
Before flash drives and the cloud, the iOmega zip drive reigned supreme in graphic design studios and tech-savvy households. Introduced in the mid-90s, it boasted a breakthrough 100 megabyte capacity, nearly 70 times that of a standard floppy disk. Professionals lauded its reliability and sleek clunk when loading data, and students felt like digital pioneers when saving essays without multiple disks. But its proprietary format and hefty price tag, both for the drive and the disks, slowed widespread adoption. As CD burners, USB thumb drives, and faster hard drives emerged, the zip drive's niche appeal collapsed. Today, these once state-of-the-art data movers gather dust in attic boxes, reminders of an era when storage was an expensive luxury. Sony's micro-MV launched in 2001, promising the world's smallest video cassette for camcorders.
Mini DV was extremely popular, but Sony were thinking about making something even smaller. So they came up with micro-MV, they shrunk the tape size.
Roughly half the size of mini DV tapes, micro-MV packed only 60 minutes of MPEG-2 video. Its tiny footprint allowed designers to shrink camcorders to unheard-of proportions until users saw the footage. Grainy images, frequent glitches, and compression artifacts plagued recordings. Additionally, micro-MV equipment carried premium price tags, making affordable mini DV and emerging hard drive recorders appear to be better bets. As flash-based and HDD camcorders rolled out mid-decade, offering superior quality, longer recording times, and easier file transfers, micro-MV quickly joined the obsolete ranks. Sony released the last micro-MV camcorder in 2006, then quietly retired the format. Today, tracking down working micro-MV decks is a niche hobby, proof that smaller isn't always better when image quality suffers. In 1998, Apple shattered the PC beige paradigm with the original Bondi Blue iMac, and the trickle of candy hues that followed ignited a full-blown 90s color craze. Teal, strawberry, grape, and lime desktop towers lit up dorm rooms and design studios alike, boldly proclaiming that computers could be as much fashion statement as functional tool. Beyond the playful shells, the iMac's USB-only ports and internet-focused design steered the industry forward. Yet, as Apple refined its aesthetic and customers sought more subdued, professional looks, the era of translucent pastels faded away. Nowadays, matte silver and space gray dominate the lineup, and spotting a vintage teal iMac is like uncovering a rare technological gemstone from a pop culture treasure chest. At the 2003 CES, Microsoft unveiled Spot smartwatches, promising news, weather, and stock updates delivered directly to your wrist via FM radio signals. These chunky timepieces boasted customizable watch faces and MSN direct services, with partners like Fossil and Suunto driving sleek prototypes. Imagine checking headlines without pulling out a phone, an idea ahead of its time.
And that is by pointing it at a CRT monitor on your PC running Windows 3.1, and it synchronizes just by looking at your display.
Yet, reception was patchy, draining batteries faster than users expected. Monthly subscription fees for MSN Direct added up, and developers struggled with limited memory and coarse monochrome screens. Even bundling a basic version free failed to win over consumers glued to emerging smartphones. By 2008, Microsoft quietly discontinued Spot, leaving a handful of dedicated fans tinkering with hardware hacks. Before you tally its legacy, brace for a daring effort that attempted to eliminate the cable box.
He told me, try America Online. I said, why? I've got a computer. He said, try it. You'll see. It's simple. Every time you sign on, welcome. It tells you if you've got mail. You've got mail.
Remember that symphony of screeches and squawks when you connected online? In the 90s, dial-up internet was the only ticket to cyberspace, commandeering your home phone line for minutes or entire afternoons at a time. If you scored a 56K modem, you were royalty among classmates. Anything slower meant painfully sluggish websites and endless loading bars. Chat rooms brimmed with ASCII art and "You've got mail" was as thrilling as any notification ping today. But every session risked a dropped connection, and multitasking was impossible. Pick up the phone, and online magic vanished. Broadband's arrival in the early 2000s banished dial-up to obscurity, turning those modem handshakes into a sonic memory of the early web's pioneering spirit. Before streaming took over, Netflix DVDs rewrote movie rentals with its mail-order service. Red envelopes tumbled into mailboxes like Christmas morning. No late fees, no store runs, just home delivery. Subscribers curated queues of blockbusters, indies, and cult classics, praying their top picks didn't carry a very long wait. For a generation, the system felt miraculous. Physical disc access to virtually any film without setting foot outside. But as high-speed streaming rose in popularity, disc rentals transformed into a niche perk.
How does streaming compare with the good old-fashioned DVD?
Streaming is convenient, but there's a huge trade-off in quality. With a basic Netflix subscription, movies you watch are not in high definition.
Although Netflix still ships DVDs, its once expansive catalog has dwindled, confined to select titles and loyal subscribers. The romance of holding a flick, browsing inserts, and tearing open that red envelope has given way to instant clicks. Proof that even groundbreaking services evolve or fade.
Sony introduces the only cassette player as small as a cassette case. The incredible sounding Super Walkman.
Before streaming and pocket-sized MP3 players, music on the move demanded a Walkman or portable CD player. Clip it to your belt or slot it into your backpack, pop in a cassette or disc, and tune into your personal soundtrack. Just add AA batteries. The Walkman's tactile feel, pressing play, hearing the tape's gentle whir, and carefully threading the magnetic tape, made listening feel like an intimate ritual. Portable CD players followed, offering clearer sound but demanding anti-skip protection and fresh batteries at every turn. Both innovations ruled school hallways and weekend car rides until solid-state players stole the spotlight. Today, their bulky silhouettes and analog charms survive in thrift shops and nostalgic daydreams. In 2003, Tapwave unveiled the Zodiac, a handheld meant to blend gaming and PDA functionality. Running on a tweaked Palm OS, it boasted vibrant graphics, multimedia playback, and a niche library of exclusive titles.
When I want to listen to my music, manage my life, and to game. To game! I'm talking 3D graphics, full motion video, analog controller.
Reviewers praised its sleek design and raw power, but the ecosystem behind it was brittle. Major game studios balked at support, leaving the store stocked with only a handful of games. Meanwhile, Sony's PlayStation Portable boasted a stronger brand, deeper pockets, and a marketing blitz that overshadowed Zodiac's niche appeal. Financial strains forced Tapwave to shutter operations in 2005, cutting off firmware updates and distribution. Today, the Zodiac survives as a collector's oddity, an ambitious device felled by competition and lack of developer backing.